Well, there are going to be people in their inner city suburbs of Melbourne and Sydney who are going to be upset. But you saw a big boost in sales last year during that period, meaning you were celebrating Australia Day proudly. So the masses are with you, but in the corporate sector and the media, what you're doing is seen as controversial.
Well, isn't it extraordinary that celebrating your country's national day, isn't it extraordinary that it's a news story? I mean, it's amazing that this is actually news. A bloke in the corporate world who has 100 million visitors a year to his assets, by the way, 100 million, 4 times the population of Australia, visit our assets every year. But let me give you some quick stats. Last year, our foot traffic in one centre alone, all the foot traffics were either doubled or tripled on our Australia Day weekends, which means we took business off somebody else. But in one of the centres in Gladstone, in Queensland, we were up 17% on foot traffic. These are mind-boggling numbers. They're as mind-boggling as the IPA poll this week that's got 90% of kids at 18, 24 going, Aussie, 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 oi, oi, oi. Woke is finished.
Now, you've declared woke is over. That is a big call. But before you go, tell me about what is happening in the corporate sector when it comes to activism. Are they still as active as they have been pushing ESG and DEI policies? We saw the corporate sector in this country almost unanimously back The Voice a couple of years ago.
Yeah. I mean, if you press and repeat that, I don't think you'd see that again after The Voice. Clearly, if you look in the United States, there's all the markers that mark off ESG, DEI markers. You know, there's indexes you can follow. And for the last 3 or 4 years, if you look at the ASX, the Oz Exchange, which is still sort of, let's call it semi-woke, a lot of those things are just drifting. And what they don't do, Rita, they don't chop them overnight. Do you know what I mean? You don't chop your HR department overnight. What you do is you progressively change your policies and you progressively change your incentive systems and you progressively change little things, because ultimately, as a listed company, you have one responsibility. It's to your shareholder. And I have exactly the same responsibility as a private company. It's to my unit holders, but most importantly, it's to the customers, Mr. and Mrs. Joe Average, that are shopping in my shopping centres. That's where my obligation is, to those people. And as of 5 minutes ago, my good friend Rita, we just settled an errand affair in New South Wales, I'm delighted to say. So the biggest shopping centre in New South Wales deal will be celebrating Australia this weekend. So if you're in Gosford, if you're in the district, get down to Erina Fair, because you will see Australian flags flying loudly and proudly and Australian activities. And the whole theme is concentrated on, the whole campaign, Rita, is called "It's Never Been More Important to Love Being Australian."
Chris Garnaut, you're a force of nature. Thank you so much for your time tonight.
Thank you so much for having me, Rita.